wonky camera. Hey guys, how are you? I am having camera issues. I know. Can you guys hear me? This is like wobbling. Hang on one second. Okay, something's going on. I should have tightened it. It's like going, camera seizure. Okay. Hopefully it won't wobble. If not, I have to like, oh God, it's wobbling bad. Okay, hopefully it's not an issue. Hi, how are you? Trying to figure out why my camera's wobbling so bad. It's the tripod is loose on the back, so if it keeps wobbling that bad, I'm gonna have to. Oh, a little tired? Oh, okay. I hope you feel better tomorrow. Hey guys, how are you? I'm doing a free yes and no. Usually it's love or career that I do these with. If you guys want to get a full reading, I offer tarot and astrology, and those are $25. But if you want a free one, a free mini, like a free yes and no, mini ones I do sometimes when I do the guest speaker so I can hear your voice, but this time I'm just going to do like free yes and no. Go ahead and put your simple question down below, so it's got to be something specific with love or career, and I'm going to be doing those free. If you want a full one, they are $25. All right, Channel is asking is if love is coming your way this year. So this is actually about love that ended. So I realize you're asking about the future, but the energy that is changing or kind of like transforming is not finished. So at this point, it's no for now. Why? There's unfinished energy that needs to heal, or, you know, that needs to happen first. Nicole, will Andy and you be in a romantic relationship? I would say no. I would say, because you're asking something definitive. So you're asking me, are you going to be in one and it's stable? Okay, so the answer that I have for you is, this is why some questions don't fit a yes and no, really, is sometimes if there's more complicated things to it. But anyway, this is kind of explaining like what's going to happen is a definitive push to make a decision that makes or breaks it. And this is talking about a person pushing one agenda when the other person has another idea. So this is conflict, not necessarily arguing, but this is like two people are not on the same page. So that's why I would say no, but that's more the dynamics of it, not the actual commitment of it. Okay, so that's what I have for you. Remember, these are free yes and no, so. Right, so timing and like there's something where a definitive decision stirs the stability. So that's it. It's more like there's some obstacles to go through first before that stage. Celine, will you hear from Slade next week? So this is the answer that I have for you is not really gonna answer it into a yes or no. Sometimes I just say yes, no, that's it. Sometimes there's no way I can, because there's too much of a weird message. Let me explain to you what comes up. This is when a problem continues and secrets are built instead of addressing 25. When secrets are pushing, kind of like there's already problems going on either with this person in their life at this time where they just are bombarded, or the problems between both of you are continuous. So this means that there's issues. Now on top of that, it talks about secrets. So what's 2 plus 2? You know, read between the lines. So this is a complicated situation. So we'll go through that first and then, you know, stabilize. All right, guys, if you have a question, this is, I think the camera's wobbling pretty bad. If it continues, because I have to tighten the, it's if you go to my feed, it's clickable. It'll show you on the page. Hyacinth, is Ricardo still thinking about you? Yes, but it's not what you think. So you have this positive romantic perception. And this is more of a bad experience that occurred to this person that they dealt with in the past. And it's talking about the different things that they associate the connection with. So for example, let's say a person's not ready. Let's say 2 people meet and they're not ready. You know, things don't hit it off, or things just don't keep flowing the way that one person expects them to. The other person might have a reason. It's not because they don't like you. It could be because of where they're at in their life. So yes, you're thought of, but it's not absent from issues with that, and it's not because of you. It's what was surrounding it. For example, let's say you met during the pandemic. Well, so it's already been so long from that, but let's pretend it was that time. Just giving you an example. There's something this person hasn't completely bounced back from. Maybe it was too big of a financial hit, or there was something surrounding when you people met. Or, you know, even if you haven't met face to face, like it's still just the communication when it started. All I'm saying is that it shows that the connection to you is not absent from a bad experience of someone else. So understand that, unpack that, if you know. Okay, Jenny, does M think of you? I don't do letters. Are you asking about? You know, you can say boyfriend, you can say crush. If you don't want to give that, then you can say Taurus, or you can say, you know, Gemini, or whatever his sign is. Do it like that. I don't do letters. Okay, is your crush thinking of you? Yes, I also think that there's something fantastical about it. So, for example, fantastical can be either there's been some magical spell or something sometimes, and sometimes you know, it can be, this energy can be where like, okay, let's say that you paid someone for like a love candle or something. Well, let's say that you didn't. This can also be when 2 people have maybe a video game that they play together, like a surreal world. Let's say that what you have in common is like a film that you keep watching together. There's an experience. So yes, the person is thinking of you, and there's something to it. So either it's going to be the whimsical, magical stuff, or it's rooting from something that you shared a common interest, where it's something that has like a make-believe kind of thing. So it's something creative, something that has to do with something whimsical. So maybe you talk about a book, or maybe it's like I said, maybe it's an online gaming space. There's something to that. So yes, they do. It's not like love passion. It's more like I guess that setting is the the matching point, if you understand what I'm saying to you. Okay, Getza, will Justin and you start talking soon? No. You will speak, you will connect, you know, you will interact, but like talking, you know, to be stable, no. Like you both have title, you know, this is my partner, this is my boyfriend, my girlfriend, whatever, like, no. There's still more to unfold. Okay, Nicole says, just want to make sure, did you get your, let's see. Let me check for you, sweetheart, 1 second. I should have had it open when I was, I don't know what I hit. There was somebody trying to invite me to a matchup or something. Sorry, guys. And I usually have this open in my shop before I stream. So as well. Okay, so I do see it here, and this one was for Nicole. And this one is for the astrology. Okay, so the astrology reading, I'm going to read you the description of what you bought. Astrology reading type is the love chart number 8. This is a love life forecast. What concerns do you want addressed in your reading? Please be specific, as this is a timed reading. Make sure you understand what these readings include. This is a love reading. I do have a history with a guy, but I don't think it's going to form as a romantic dynamic. What do you see the energy for love, for example? So you do have to know your birth date, the exact time of birth, exactly like it is in your birth certificate, and you have to know your person's information as well. Now, sometimes the person doesn't know their love interests info, and they'll know just the month, day, and year. A little bit of that can be worked into it. The deepest one would be for, because this is a love reading with astrology. So astrology charts are based on the precision of time, location, and date. So Nicole, do you have the information for yourself and your person so that I can go ahead and do this? Okay. Now I am seeing that there is a note down here that PayPal just added where it says refund information, please accept or refuse this payment if you, I think that's to me. Refund information, I've never seen this before. And reversals, okay, because I do have a no refund policy because there is a fee, and PayPal requires that if I do the reading, I have to prove that I did it. So it's recorded on today's date, which is the 20th of April, and it's to Nicole. I don't say any other information about the person because names are private. Okay, so that being said, you have the information. Let's go ahead and do it. So yours is, okay, so his is 7/30/96, and you don't have the time he was born? Or you do? Usually in the form, it tells you type it, but I didn't see that you typed it. Okay, not knowing his time of birth does limit some things. I can see, so for example, if his information were a whole pizza pie, I'm going to be able to see 3 slices. Now that is good enough for some things. but it's better if you know all 12. So astrology is precision of math. You have to know time, exact time of birth. I can still give a very good love reading, but it's never going to be the full thing because I cannot see his entire destiny. All right. I can see yours though if you know your exact time of birth. Doing it together, it limits how much I can tell you about him, but I will be able to tell you, this is synastry, and synastry and composites and things with love, you need to have the exact thing. That's why it says it on there when you buy it. Time corrections take a while and then they're done over the phone. So, Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But I will be able to, I will give you the answers that you want anyway, because, I'll add tarot, runes, whatever I need to do to get that answer for you. Okay. All right. So yours is, sweetheart, what is your info? So his is 7/30/96 and yours is also, if you know where he was born. If you don't know where he was born, I can still do something with this with astrology. Okay, 5/3. Oh, you're going to have a birthday soon. Happy early birthday. Okay. Okay, and yours is 3 p.m. Okay. Okay, he was born in Cuba, but Cuba has different latitude and longitude. So you would have to tell me exactly where. So you would have to tell me the exact city. And then because that island has had a lot of geographical political changes, they've renamed certain provinces. But it's okay, I can go back with the latitude and longitude, whatever it was. So from the 90s, it hasn't been too much of a change, but some cities, some hospitals are now in a new city. And no, Havana, you can't guess, because Havana will place him in a very different destiny. Yeah, it has to be that's why this is a lot of precision with astrology. Okay, so we're really not going to be able to do the full love reading with astrology with him. So we're going to have to do a tarot with him, and we'll be able to do like a deeper one with astrology with you. Okay. So so your information is 5/3/99 at 10:43 p.m. And where is the location that you were born, sweetheart? That's okay. Okay. Now, is it exactly Miami, or is it like a subsidiary in Miami-Dade County? So like Miami Gardens or, okay, Miami, Florida. Okay, that's fine. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull this up and we'll get started. You said Dade. Well, that's the county. That's the county. What I was asking was the exact city, because sometimes it could be like if it's Miami Lakes or Miami Gardens or South Beach, it changes the latitude and longitude. All right, but that's fine. It's Miami. That's fine. Okay, and that's Eastern Standard Time. Have you ever had your astrology read, by the way? Oh, okay. Now I can add you as a guest speaker if you would like. If you're interested, and if some people are shy, but if you want me to click a button and I hear your voice, we can do that. So I'm just going to let you know a couple of things. Astrology is absolutely beautiful and absolutely complicated. When I do just to let you know, just for you to be aware, when someone comes to me for a full life reading, that means everything you could possibly squeeze out of the natal chart. It's called a natal chart reading. It is, I would say, anywhere from 40 to 55 pages of handwritten by me, front and back, that they get, like a report. And we go over all their questions after they read it for an hour, hour and a half. It's a monster. Obviously, this is a short read, and we're going to stuff as much as we can in this. But I want to let you know that astrology is something that takes, a long time to develop, because, and I'm going to also teach you something that you may use the rest of your life. If you end up liking it a lot, understand that learning about your natal chart, it's kind of like looking at the blueprint of your life. So the blueprint is a term a lot of people don't understand because it has to do with the world of construction and architecture and engineering. So a lot of people are like, what, blueprint? It's a foundation. So it looks at your whole life and gives you like the big, the bad, the ugly, the talents, the good stuff. Okay. But when you want to zoom in really close to like half a year, or what, I'll give you an example. Let's say that your natal chart says you're going to be a doctor. Okay. And it says that you become a doctor later because of some struggles, and you end up graduating, like, let's say, a little bit older than most people graduate. What happens all those other years? That's not in the natal chart. So the person, little hints and pieces of the life are there, but you don't understand it. So what happens if, oh, that's cute. That's cute. What happens if for the first couple of years of you working, you end up working in an office because you're not in med school yet? And then let's say that you, after that, let's say you become something in cosmetology for a little while just to make ends meet, right? And then finally you get to med school and then all of that. So if I look at your horoscope for the year, or for, let's say half of that year, I'm going to be like, oh, wait a minute, you're going to be doing something with, eyelash extensions, or you're going to be doing beauty stuff, or you're going to work in an office. And that is going to be very different from the big picture where you finally get to your destiny of your job. So when you read, when you have your natal chart analyzed, it's the big stuff, the good, the bad, the ugly. Hopefully there's not too much ugly. Okay. But it's the big picture. When you zoom into your life, like with detail all the time, that's going to be horoscope astrology. A lot of people think that's just the stuff you read in blogs. That being said, I wanted you to understand that astrology is something that you can continue to go back to and consult with the rest of your life, because there's never going to be enough information. It's always going to be like more and more. Okay. All right. That being said, let's start off. This is me reading your natal chart, not for a life reading, but what you bought was for love. So I'm going to not really read all the career stuff and all of that. If we have time, I'll add some in there. But it's basically love concentration. Because we don't have too much of his information, I'm going to kind of do like a merger to give you the answers that you want. But in the future, there's no way to do it perfectly without his exact info. Okay, so your sun sign, because, well, you were born in Cuba, which is still the West. So because you were born in the West, the way that my astrological practice does it. So if you go to one yoga studio or you go to one restaurant, one chef might do things differently, one yoga instructor might do things differently. My astrology practices run the way that I have done it for, 30 years. So I'm going to give you my philosophies, my style, like if I were the chef of my restaurant. That doesn't mean my style fits every person. Every astrologer has their own style. That being said, I believe in my practice that when you are born in a certain hemisphere on the globe, you go with tropical astrology. But I also read sidereal. And sidereal is your main identity. It switches in hemisphere. Your main identity when you are born in the East. So I have clients, for example, that were born in Palestine or Israel or something, and their main identities, their sun, moon, rising, is going to be sidereal primary, and tropical is going to be their shadow side. So that's how I practice. So I'm going to read you your sidereal identity, which if you're like, well, what is that? There's 3 paths to destiny, and a person has to constantly balance which one they go to. And your shadow side in astrology is your past life. And it also is a part of your reality in your destiny that will not become the path, but you have to stir away from some of the lessons. So it becomes the shadow side of what's going on. So just to let you know, if you look at the stars flat, tropical would be something like that. And then sidereal is if you look at it at an angle, so it would be the shadow side. So don't worry about that. That's very science, but this is a pseudoscience. But okay, so your sun sign in tropical, you are a sun sign Taurus. You are a Sagittarius moon, and you are a Sagittarius rising. So you are earth and fire. The fact that you are a Sag moon and a Sag rising is very cool. And I'm going to check and see if you have another identity. So you do not have a stellium. So that means that those are your 3. You also have a subruler to your ascendant and your subruler in your sun sign. I don't want to confuse you and stress you by giving you too much information if you're a beginner. So I think that's good, is leaving it at the fact that you're a sun Taurus, moon Sagittarius, and your ascendant or rising is Sagittarius. Your soulmate in your life is a Sagittarius. So this person is going to have either the sun, the moon, or their rising in Sagittarius. How do you find out the rising? The time of birth. How do you find out the moon? You can go to moongiant.com and go to a little, click on a thing that says where you born on a full moon. It's like a free resource. And it will show you the moon sign. I will tell you his, but if you have another crush later on, you can find that out. Yeah, well, you're double fire. That's no joke. Definitely. And not only that, you do have a super grand trine in fire. Well, we don't call it a super grand trine. It's just a grand trine. And that is something very significant in your life that later on, we can talk about in the future, or maybe something, if you consult another astrologer or whatever, they will talk to you about it as well. So that's what that's about. So your soulmate is a Sag. And what that means is it's going to be the love that changes you. Hopefully it's the one that changes you for the better, and it's the one that ends up long-term romance for life. Hopefully. I will be able to look into that a minute. Your marital, give me 1 second. I'm going to review something with your love path. Okay, so you do have a situation where your love life is going to be impacted by your beliefs. So that means, are you from, what would you say your religion is? Are you Catholic only, or do you have a magical religion? You're only Catholic, strictly? Okay, No, because people from the island, they have different faiths. Okay, so you're strictly Catholic. Okay, the reason I ask is because you're in your destiny, in your love life, at some point in your life, you're going to have your belief system challenged, challenging your love life. So that means you can be in love with someone that has a different faith, and you will have stressors with in-laws or stressors with, him, because you may not fit his faith or he may not fit yours. So you gotta, you're going to come out of that situation very positively. So this is a blessing that, in other words, you have a protection in that way. So I just wanted to let you know that. Another one is, discussions and arguments can be an issue, but you also have protection built in where I think the way that you're going to respond or behave will reconnect the connection. So you do have a lot of protection in your love life. I'm trying to look for, really quick, give me 1 second. Okay, trying. Okay, so there is a hint of you meeting someone you fall in love with while you study something. So that's also here. In other words, like when you're in school or when you're studying something, it talks about a romance. So there is a love you leave behind. So there will be someone that you fall in love with that because of geography or because of something very intense with like moving or location can break the love. So that is also there. But overall, I see really healthy, placements here. I will describe your soulmate. So I don't want you to think soulmate means the happiest love of all. There are many different kinds of soulmates. That has to be evaluated deeper, and I am going to go into the evaluation of you and the guy that you told me about. Okay? But I'm going to describe a love that changes you. So sometimes for a woman has a capacity to love more than once. A woman can fall in love very deeply more than once, even though there's going to always be one main love in their life. A man, he can have many romantic partners, but there's one love that gets him in the feels like nobody else. So a woman has a more complex relationship with falling in love, and a man is more simple, but it's more definitive. The Sagittarius that I see in your chart is your soulmate, but that doesn't mean that it's the one that stays with you the longest. Hopefully it is. That's the ideal situation for everybody. But sometimes people cross a person's path for children and then they end up marrying someone who makes them happy the rest of their life. There's so many combinations, but this Sagittarius is going to be very significant in your life, and I'm going to describe this person. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so the first thing about this person is they take a lot of risks. This guy, he is going to put himself in danger many times because he acts too fast. Sometimes this is going to be in a financial sense, and sometimes it's going to be where, it can cost him his career, his job. But at the same time, he's a very positive guy. He just needs to sit and think more. Be more like, should I do that? Because he just jumps at it. He's very like, come on, let's go. So he's very high energy. He's very happy. He loves adventure. Okay. He's a person that is going to take a lot of chances. So for example, since you're a Taurus, You are the planner. You're not as obsessively planning as Virgo or Capricorn, but out of the earth signs, Taurus plans a great deal. You need to know things. You need to know what you can depend on. For you, having your home and your stability and your financial security is epic for you. It's paramount. It's very important. And this being with this person, being so adventurous, they kind of take the gamble of things. And it may be too much for you. Yes, you'll be able to understand it because of the Sag placements that you have. But, you know, it can cause a lot of like rocking the boat, because you need to feel safe and he can make you feel unsafe by this type of, you know, mindset. He has a lot of good intentions, and he's the type of person that can be, you know, misjudged. You know, he will be misjudged by family. But when you get, you know, you will know his heart, and you will know that he really does mean good. That's very important. You know, having a life with someone that has a really good heart is very important. So he's a person that's going to make a lot of mistakes that are careless. And you're not going to be able to mother him. So, you know, Taurus doesn't want to mother their boyfriend or fiance or husband, but they end up doing it a little bit. In fact, all earth signs kind of do in some way, because, and it's not exclusive to earth signs, but, you know, Taurus has like, a lot of times Taurus will be drawn to a little bit younger guy, maybe like a year younger or something. Sometimes they do that. You know, for the most part, not every Taurus, but this is like a thing. Because they kind of want to show the guy, you know, let me introduce you to this. Like, I'm the one that shows you. I'm the one that takes you on adventures. And, you know, it's kind of like that exciting thing. It's kind of weird, but, you know, but you get what I'm saying. And, you know, you're going to, the stress with this relationship is that you're going to want him to be kind of more like you and mellow out. Because he's a bit too much. He's like extra, you know, and that's going to be a hard thing. And then also he's going to take a lot of risks and things that you're going to be like, why did you do that? Like, why did you spend that? Or why did you say yes to those people? Or why did you sign up for that? Are you crazy? And he's going to be like, why not? It was an opportunity. And you're going to butt heads. So it's going to be difficult because you're going to understand his vibe to a very deep level. You're going to understand his joy and share some of it. But when it comes to life planning and adulting and all of that, this is going to be very difficult. And you know, the reason it's interesting that I'm giving you this reading now, because right now this probably sounds very strange to you. Like, what? Who's this mystery guy? But, you know, trust me, you know, when you meet him, you'll understand. And maybe by me telling you this, you'll help your relationship last. Okay, because I specialize in love, and I want to help women find love. And one of the things that I try to do is, if I do see a love that is worth saving or worth it, I always tell the person, hey, be patient. Don't let this hurt you guys. And this is something that you know what you're getting into. And this is one of those things where you're going to have to find the patience, because this is a really good love that shouldn't end. Okay. So you're going to have issues, and he may drive you nuts a little bit. But I think if you can build from the beginning when you meet him, you can build the type of relationship where even if he drives you nuts and even if he does things that you can't control, if you can build it where it has a foundation where there's trust and you won't yell at him, you'll talk through it with him. and he will have to understand that certain things drive you nuts, and he'll have to kind of like pamper to you as well. You will be okay. The problem with this dynamic is that he could avoid you yelling, because Taurus can be very strong. A Taurus woman, when someone's in the doghouse with a Taurus woman, they almost like fear the Taurus. Okay? It's like, I don't want their shit. I don't want to be yelled at. So you don't want that relationship, because then those are the secrets. And you don't want that. Okay? So if you can do that early on, that would be great. He's going to be a very inspirational type of person, but extremely headstrong. And the problem is the impulsiveness. This is when he can spend money because he feels it's going to quadruple. So he might have a lick for gambling. Not saying he's a gambler per se. That addiction out of whack. Well, no addiction is good, but, we're not talking like chocolate s'mores. If there's an issue, I would see it in the chart. I don't have his chart, so I really can't see like what his downfalls could be, if you understand, his taboos. But overall, I can tell you that you're going to have issues because he just doesn't feel like he has to explain everything to you, because he doesn't want to be controlled. So the controlling factor can be an issue in the relationship. Now, so this is a person that very easily, if he has no plan in his life, because he keeps trying to feel that the more he risks, the more greatness will come. So the perception here about this guy is that if he feels that, if I could just taste wealth or taste fame or taste success, if I could just grab it, if you could just give me one chance and I take this chance and I could just grab it, I promise I am going to be the best, and I'm going to just let me take this chance, let me take this gamble. That's going to be his flavor. And then every time he does, there's a penalty or a setback or a problem. And you have to be ready for that. So the way that you jump in financially is going to have to be organized. So let me tell you something interesting about you. You have a lot of trines and you have a lot of luck, and you have a very blessing trine in your sign, which is helping your love life. Well, a lot of people don't have that. So that means that you're learning early before you meet this man what it's going to take to have it be a forever. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people will cross my path and I give them readings when the soulmate didn't work out, or they already ruined it, or life got in the way, or it's already soured, or you have a situation in front of you where you're on the rare side. So this is a relationship that you shouldn't walk away from, and you will be tempted at times to do that. And you can also, if you know how to handle it ahead of time, you will be fine, because this is a type of love in your future. I would say that this guy is it. This is like the one that you're going to love the deepest. After this one, if it doesn't work out because both of your behaviors, because love is effort. Destiny will put two people together. Sometimes it'll be because of a past life situation or a karma that's short-lived. And sometimes it'll be because life is pushing you to have a chance. We're not robots. Destiny designs us, I guess, but it's our character that can deviate. So you can ruin your own behaviors, and his can ruin something beautiful. So I hope you guys last. It'll be interesting when you meet. That being said, let's go ahead and read on the guy that you are interested in. So let me get some information from what I can gather from him, because you don't have the full astrology, and then I'm going to go in with some tarot to add in some spots. Okay, let's see. So you do have a very good chance at a lucky love. But the rough part about your love life is that you are going to have to find the patience and the sweet spot, like you said. I like that word, that phrase, to make it work, and it's going to be effort. Some people get together and the love is effortless. It just smooths slowly, it works. And other people have to work hard at it, and they can make it work. So in your particular case, you have a love blessing, but it's the kind that you have to really put a lot of effort into, and so does he. Okay, and you're being let known early. Now, there's a chance he's not from his if you're both living here, because a Sagittarius placement on a person's chart that is on the sun or rising or moon, only those, not the planets, means he speaks a foreign language, or he's from a different geographical location, or he might immigrated to a new place. So that means that you're going to meet a foreigner. Maybe he's a foreigner like you, which means you would be of kin, at least geographically, obviously not related, but you know what I mean? That you would have that, kinfolk, like you would have the same background. Okay, so that's definite with Sag. Okay, so let me go ahead now and pull up a chart, partial chart with this guy. Okay, so you don't know where in Cuba, so that is difficult. I'm going to put Havana, but the stuff I'm going to read won't sway with latitude and longitude like that. You don't have his rising, so like I said, I'm only going to be able to do like 3 slices of the pie, but don't worry, I'm going to give you enough information. Okay, let's see. And I will give you your sidereal identity if you want me to, okay? That's a little more advanced. You won't understand it, but in case someday you want it, I'll give it to you if you want. Okay, so here we go. So he's a Leo. He's a Leo sun. An Aquarius moon. His rising may be Sag. If his rising is Sagittarius, then he could be the guy. Because Leo and Sag are soulmate connections. That doesn't mean that every Leo that's with a Sag is a soulmate. It means that the signs themselves, like Cancer and Scorpio, bond together, automatically. So it means that the connection is like the passion's through the roof. That doesn't mean that other signs don't connect. Every sign has like a major passionate connection with a certain sign. There's always like matches. Leo and Sag are at the top of the list. So this is like excellent that he's a Leo. Okay, let me describe his soulmate. So the soulmate on a man's chart will not reveal the sign like on a woman, but it will reveal the peak of her career. So I'm going to describe who she is. Now, here's the good news and the bad news. On a man's chart, women have, when I do love traces, the love charts on a woman's love life, women are so much more complicated than men. Men are more, in a way, they have a complexity, but I would say there is equal, but I would say that in this department, a man is very determined on the one love. It doesn't mean he can't fall in love again, but there's something to the love that's marked on his chart that he won't have that same capacity where a woman can, because women can have children, I guess, and the way that women love is more complicated. I don't know, it's hard to explain. I'm probably doing a really bad job with that, but anyway, moving on, I'm going to describe the person that he falls in love with the deepest. And if it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean he won't love again. But it's almost like getting second fiddle. So you never want to settle. So if there was an ex in his past that he's just hung up on, or even if it's just resentment and stories, and he doesn't shut up about it, You want somebody that gives you where you're the number one. Okay, just letting you know. Okay, so I'm going to describe her career, the peak of her career. And this is going to tell you who she is. Hopefully, you know, it would be cool if it would be you, even if you're not at this career point. So give me 1 second. So this woman is a person that, now here's the part, if you're very, 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 very in love with him, so I want you to get really mature about what I'm going to tell you, okay? If you're very, very, very in love with him and you want this to be you, a lot of times a person will kind of like fit and reach and say, yeah, that's me. Be honest. If this is not you, that doesn't mean you guys can't have a wonderful romance. It just, don't try to fit something that it's not, because readings are awesome. They give people clarity. But sometimes when I go too far into the future, I wonder to myself sometimes, am I really helping? Because the information is like so far out there that it can take so long to understand it. But it's recorded and you're always welcome to come back and listen to it, okay? And hopefully it helps you. But I'm just going to put the information out there, and it's the person's, it's the recipient getting the reading, that it's up to them and your spirit guides and your ancestors to take that information and use it like you need to, okay? That's not my job. My job is to just be honest. Okay, so here we go. This is a woman that is naturally prone to being very, the way that she makes judgments on things, she makes mistakes a lot because she's very trustful. And she thinks she's learning every time she gets hurt. But this is a person that keeps getting stepped on because she's way too trustful of other people. So this is a person that's going to be taken advantage of a lot. So in their relationship, when he has it with her or you or whoever this is for him, he's always going to be telling her, why'd you fall for that? Why'd you do this? Like, what's your problem? No, because they were so sweet and they've never done that before. So he's going to see her live through moments of being deceived way too much. So this is a person that's going to be led in different directions to work with different people. And in the end, working for themselves or doing their own twist on being self-sufficient. So maybe it's like a couple of side hustles, maybe it's a couple of side jobs, you know, or side businesses, I should say, while they do a main sort of stream of revenue. Whatever it is, this person is going to figure out later. So this is not a doctor. Okay? At least in this part of her life. So you got to understand something. This is the tricky part. Like I said to you, if a person is meant to, you know, in their greatest achievement on their natal chart, a person is meant to be a surgeon, let's just say. And they go through 4 jobs while they get there in their life. The romance or marriage they can have to the tie on the chart can be at a time before they start school, or maybe, you know, right before. Maybe they get married young, and then this is a phase she goes through. But I'm still not done. Okay, I'm going to explain more about this woman. Hang on 1 second, I have to put this together. Okay, so we already know that this is a phase that she's going to go through where, because of being misled by other people and believing hopelessly in a lot of things, it leads her to being unsuccessful. Oh, I'm going to do this and I'm so excited. And then 3 months later, it goes to crap. And then she tries to again, and then boom, it didn't go. She went the wrong way and she didn't why'd you do that? So this is pretty bad, especially with him being so daring. So that means that he has to kind of baby her in this way for a time. And this seems very youthful. So this is sometimes young women, when they don't have everything figured out, they can go through something like this. So this doesn't seem like older. Let's get into older, what's going to happen. Okay, so again, I don't see medicine for her path. I see someone that is going to be dealing with things that she's later on in her life, she's going to fall in love with things that are very natural, something that has to do with either natural beauty. So it's going to be something that maybe a person can maybe it's with skin, an esthetician, or maybe it's something where a person does holistic healing, or maybe there's something that she does that has a natural element to it. This is a person that studies something, but it's not like a peak in science. She finds her own way. This is very earthy, but it's not like she's going to do something really meaningful for humanity. Right. So that can, so this person does succeed. She does succeed in her life. She does, but she ends up doing, something that she does study something. But it has a great deal to do with something involving nature. What do I mean by that? Well, a green job would be science, so that wouldn't be it, because people that study quote-unquote green jobs, agriculturist, engineer, those are things that are green jobs. That's not what I mean. There's something natural to it. So it's going to be something that's more organic, or something that like I said, maybe skin care, or maybe something with, something holistic, like there are so many things right now with not only spiritual things, but also things with beauty, there's a more natural approach. Maybe it's something involving, with plants, farming, agriculture. Maybe there's something where she does landscaping, something with nature. I would have to kind of see a little bit more, but it's only a little piece of the career that's put in the man's chart. Let me see if I can find a little bit more on her. It could be something with hair, something in the cosmetology world. And something with sunlight. So maybe we've got to realize this is in the very future. And by then there may be technologies for beauty that pop up that we don't understand. Yeah, it could be with trauma, but it would take a natural approach, but it's not so much with therapy. It's not where she dedicates something to help heal. It's something that she just helps to accomplish. So she plugs into a system. So that means that she works at it. So there was a time where tanning beds was a career. And now hot yoga, you do it in pods. And red laser therapy is a thing. Who knows, 15 years from now, something like that, what there can pop up. So you got to keep your mind open. This is with skin and beauty and it can be, and it's something with nature, and it's also something where a person enjoys it. So it can be an element of decor. Maybe there's going to be some type of like sustainable, like something you do with indoor plants. Who knows, right? Air purification. There's something interesting to it, and that's what she does. All right, so that's that. Now let's go back now to his chart a minute and tell you a little bit more about what I see about the guy that you're crushing on. So we covered a little bit of your love blueprint. We covered a little bit about your soulmate, or I should say pretty much a lot of it. Now we're diving into the guy you have a crush on, but we have limited information in astrology. But already I can see an incredible amount of attraction. Now here's the thing. He does have a moon where you do have to be aware that sometimes some of the things he's going to be drawn to, you may not. So you can butt heads with the way he treats this guy, not the soulmate guy. We don't know if he's the soulmate guy. I can find out. Give me 1 second. It's not the guy. I figured there's something that doesn't cross. The soulmate in your chart, have you ever been married? Have you ever been married in your life? So I don't want to confuse you, but I'm gonna address two different things. Okay, was he the Sag? Did he like? Okay, was he the one that? So did that marriage break because he was too crazy, adventurous, and too much risk, or was it for other reasons? Yeah, don't worry because we don't know if he was that Sag. You're drawn to Sag and Leo and fire. So don't worry about that too much because you may meet other Sagittariuses. Okay, that wouldn't be him. That wouldn't be him. So you know what? That's good news. That means the guy that I see in your future, that is the husband, you have not met yet. So that's good. So the engagement that you had that ended was not with the guy that I read. That means you're going to meet him. Okay, so that's a good thing. Now, part 2. Let's forget the soulmate guy. There's nothing for you to do about that except be aware about the tips I gave you in the future. And you will meet him when destiny and God wants you to. So do not even worry about it. There's nothing you have to do. It is meant to be. Just save it and take care of it with the advice I gave you. Now, let's jump to a fresh new page and let's only focus on this guy you have a crush on. I'm going to call him the Leo because he's the Leo. We already know that the Leo is not the guy on your chart. But that doesn't mean that you can't have a romance with him and be in a relationship with him and enjoy a relationship with him. That doesn't mean that. In fact, it may blossom out that way. But he's not the chart guy. So, this Leo, the things that now I'm going to give you an evaluation on the love of both of you. I see that the passion and attraction is very high, but I also see that there's going to be a problem with him being selfish. He is going to want you to do things and abide by things and rules that he does not. So his mother could be an issue as well. It could be a mother, it could be an older sister. If his mother's not here or somewhere else or gone or something like that, God forbid. It could be someone else that he, is like a confidant, and it kind of wedges an opinion in the relationship. Another thing is that he could be drawn to things that bother you. Behaviors, friendships, groups that bother you and stir you. Okay? Now, that being said, the woman I described in the Leo's chart, this guy you have a crush on or you like him, That could be in his future because I don't see that that has happened already in his life. So that means that's the person he's going to marry in the future. Now, let's take the astrology away. And let's look at really quick. Let me see if there's anything extra I'm going to add to yours without making it a life reading. We're going to just do the love, which is what you wanted. Then I'm going to go in with the cards and give you a love reading on the Leo. But let me see something, if anything pops out at me that I want to tell you. Okay, you've got Mercury. So your future career, even though you may have many jobs from here to then, when you get to your career peak of what you're going to do, my first question to you is, are you an artist? Are you creative? Oh, hey, Magpie. How are you? So I see that you have a lot of creativity. Okay. As an author or as an illustrator? When you say you made a book, people can make a book because of the writing in it or because of the art in it. Because this talks about you having a high level of aesthetic and design quality to your talents. So are you a designer, graphic designer, author? Okay, so you're an author. Okay, so you're a literary artist. Poet, author. Okay, so you are a literary artist. There's performing artist if you're an actor or dance, visual artist if you paint or draw, and literary artist if you are a writer and / poet. Okay, so you are an artist. So I see you working with children. I also see you working with analyzing something, dealing with a social science. So it's not medicine. I see you doing something where it involves, it could be like different age groups. No, not neuroscience. I see you doing something with evolving like a social science and children or places of youth. So for example, if you work for the government, it can be places that have grants for leisure, so parks and recreations. It can be something where you help. This is with children. You work with children. You're going to work with children, and you're going to work with something regarding analyzing something. So like it can be social work. It can be some kind of creative therapy. A social science more would be like a psychology in this particular sense. Not so much with, I don't see you having so much like a thing with patients in and out, but it could be psychoanalysis, but you're going to be dealing with a youthful crowd. Doesn't necessarily have to be children. You can use your scientific, it's going to involve creativity. It can be analyzing people's aptitude. There is a bit of science to it. Well, with the psychiatry part, I don't see that. I see that there's writing in your field. You're going to be doing writing. You're going to be working with something regarding the youth. So sometimes it's a youth area. So for example, theme parks, like for example, if there are industrial psychologists, just to give you an idea of the arena of work. So industrial psychologists are very interesting. They don't have one-on-one patients with kids or adults or anything or any age group, but they help industries. They help corporations. You could work for Disney, or you can work for. So I'm just giving you an idea. It's to do a deep career analysis takes me a couple of hours, because I do vocational astrology. So it's diving really deep into the jobs. I'm taking a peek at it, and I'm already telling you, you're going to be paid with writing, something that you initiate. There's going to be a component of writing, but you're not going to just live as a writer. There's a component of writing and analysis in what you do. There's expression. It can be reviewing things. There's somewhat of a social science and creativity with it. So things like industrial psychology for companies that do fun things. It can be journalism, but it can be journalism for something that is, something that's kind of merging social awareness, maybe something with the youth. There's a creative component. This can be a different social science foundation. Let's see. This is what you end up doing. So you're not in the wrong path. Your destiny, as far as what you're going to do, will work itself out. You're going to, yes, I'm going to look a little bit further, but you got to realize this is going to happen and there's nothing for you to do. Just live your life and live your best self and make the best choices that you can. And everything is gonna, this part of life, there's times where readings are gonna tell you don't do that, don't make that mistake. But in this particular case, you end up doing what you are gonna do no matter what, because it's destiny. So you don't have to worry or stress yourself. Okay? Maybe being a nurse will shape what you do. Maybe it's when you finish that you're really going to, you got to realize you also have that double Sagittarius, and you have a couple of aspects in your chart that show, let me look at this house a minute. Let me see something, because a lot of times a degree you will not make a living in what you have. Sometimes you end up making a living in something different than what you study. Let me see something about your moon. 1 second. Let me look at this. Okay, you do have a situation where you gotta realize something. I noticed in your chart. I wasn't looking for it, but I noticed it. You're the type of person that you cannot let your career choke your mental wellness. You got to do the best that you can. You have to look at the positive in your life. You have to, obviously work hard and have but you have to learn to be flexible, and you have to learn to be adaptable. You will live better. You will live happier. I understand there could be a lot of mom influence and a lot of pressure, but you feel like your entire purpose is to get your career right so that you could be what you want to be, and the money that you're going to make is going to solve your issue and all these things, and you have to not allow, you can't live like that. Life is going to show you a lot of lessons and a lot of things, and you don't want your career to hurt your marriage when you get married. You have a placement here in your moon where, especially in your moon, where it talks about the day that you have a baby. Do you have any babies yet? You don't have babies yet? The day that you have a baby, your life is going to change very different. It's not going to be, you know how those moms can like write a book, have a kid, be home, breastfeed, finish a degree, and run 2 businesses, and they're like, oh my God, how do they do it? Okay, that's not going to be you. I'm telling you right now. It's going to be challenging. Obviously, that's a blessing for a new mom. However, you got to realize you can't just try to force your life before the baby, after the baby, because it's going to bring you down, and you don't want to do that. Start early so that you can't get lost in your job. Where you have your moon is a person that feels like, if I get to this position and I accomplish this and I get this income, everything will be perfect. I just got to get there. And once I get there, everything is going to be everything that I wanted, and everything's going to be all right. And then I'm okay. No. Life is telling you, you better like pop some popcorn and wait, because this is going to go whoop. There's going to be a lot of changes, and you have to be adaptable. You cannot let your mental peace be shooken, because you have very sensitive mental peace. If you have discord, arguments, if things are making you upset, if you're near toxic people, you can be very affected by these things in your life, and it can bring you down and cause stress. Okay, stress, and that's not okay. You're the type of person that needs to separate from negative influences and toxicity. So, I know you hate change. I see that you absolutely can't stand change. But you got to realize that look at your life in little sections and say to yourself, you're doing the best for this time. Do the best that you can and be forgiving, and don't try to hold on to life like with a rigid plan. No, it's going to be like this. And if it did, because life is saying there's going to be some curveballs in your life that you can't, stop ignoring. And it's going to bring uncomfortable change, because you don't want to change. You want safe. You want to know, and you want to go, and you want to do, and then you're the fighter, and you're going to get this going, and life is saying it's not going to be like that. Chill. It will happen when you want to. So chillax. And this is telling you that. So let me take another peek real quick at career. So in what you do, there's going to be a lot of interlaced mental and spiritual. You're going to be a person that 3 times, okay. Don't stress yourself and say, "Oh my God, how much longer do I have to change? I can't stand it anymore. I need to know the answer," because this change is good. Just be like, "Hey, my focus is this year, and that's it. and I'm doing the best I can, and I'm planning, and I count your blessings. You know, look at like family and health is wealth. Health is true wealth. So in this kind of thing, you got to look at what you do have. And be thankful for the mistakes that didn't happen to you. And you got to think positive. You got to think these things, because this is, this is a ride. This is a ride, and you're not in control. You're in control with some things, but not everything. And you have to just allow life to give you, think of life as an adventure. If you had everything figured out, you'd be a robot. So you have to think of it like an adventure. So anyway, you are going to merge, beauty and aesthetics with writing. There's going to be some form of self-government in what you do. So that means that you're going to kind of have enough leadership where you're either your own boss, or you are in a job that allows you some freedom. So you will have like a good position where you are allowed to do your own thing. Like I said, journalism is a possibility. But then again, there could be a writing element to what you do, which is kind of journalistic. Because a person can have journalistic traits to their job and not necessarily hold the title of journalist. You can blog. You can write about experiences. You can have a community of people that seek your services where they read what you write. So it's journalistic because you're reporting your experience, and you have to understand that as well. Okay, so there is whatever you're going to do is going to have a balance of that. You're going to have to work physically, and you're also going to have to work mentally at what you do. So it's not just going to be a desk job. There's going to be something that you do it hands-on. So this is a social science. This has to do with aesthetic. It has to do with fifth house placements. So, children or the youth or adventure. I don't see it be with couples. Sometimes in the fifth house, you can kind of see like couples. But no, there's going to be some entertaining element. So your writing may entertain people. You may have like a fan base with what you do. So, okay, so you do photography, is what you're saying? Oh, pictures in your book because of kids, you mean? I'm sorry, I didn't follow what you were saying. Anyway, entertainment has photos, and photos it's a form of illustration. It's aesthetic. It's an art form. It's photography. It's pretty. It's a visual component to what you write. Yeah, that's excellent. It can be that you also write, but you don't make a living exclusively as a writer, but it's in adjacent to. All right. So that's fun too. So you're gonna have a good career, and you're gonna have a lot of blessings, in your career, and what you're going to do is going to be fun. So just believe in happiness. I do see you being successful. Okay, so just understand that. Now, to finish this reading, let's do a really quick dive into the romance with the Leo and see what's going on. All right, let's tie it up. Now you got to realize, if you guys have, I don't need to know details in this particular case, because remember this reading, I'm kind of doing I've done like a little bit of astrology, a little bit of a merger, because I'm kind of like doing a unique way, because you didn't have all the information. Normally when I do like a deep tarot, I'll like get the whole story, But I'm just telling you, FYI, I'm going to be reading on the relationship. But I want to let you know, if you guys have not met yet and it's just been digital, or you guys have already like, you know, smoochy a little bit, or whatever's going on, if he's blocking you or you're blocking him at this time, whatever's going on, I don't need to know. But understand that those things are going to impact, you know, where it's going. So whatever it is, it's going to impact it. So that's just for you to know. Okay. Okay. So one of the things that comes up in the reading right away is when someone has died. Someone has lost someone. So either this is talking about money, it's talking about when something broke and died and changed, grieving. Yes. That's the energy that comes up with both of you in the cards. So that means that either he just went through something in his family, or you just went through something in your family. Now, what does it have to do with love? Well, it's not a love thing, but you got to realize it's part of... Yeah, but the grieving, though, is strong. So that means that either he just impactfully went through something difficult with his family. Sometimes grieving can be losing a home or a job or something because of a financial hit. It could be something politically happening back home. Some people are living with family in places of stress right now, and dynamic change. So all I'm saying to you is that instead of it reading about you, the way he feels about you and the way you feel about him, this is talking about suffering in family. Okay, came back here. Okay. But this is when someone has lost something significantly. So that means that either he just lost a pet or a loved one, or something very difficult tragically happened to maybe a family member. And this is affecting him at this time. So I don't know how much catching up you guys have done, but this is something impacting him. So that means that if you see him moody or distant or quiet, this is weighing on him. Hey Sam, I charge $25, but my readings are free. My little yes and no, if you guys like the free yes and no on the stream. But this one, what happened with this one is she got astrology, but what happened was she didn't have all the info for it. So I'm doing like a freebie extension because she didn't know. So I end up doing like a partial tarot, because a lot of people don't know about astrology. So no, it's not. Okay, let's see. So Nicole says, okay, so he hasn't caught me up yet, but I did recently. Okay, so that would be your grandma. So then that would be for you. Okay, because this is bringing up grieving. This is bringing up like a loss. Why is that energy showing up in a love reading? Like you'd be like, Lucy, why is the grandma showing up in a love reading when I'm asking about the Leo? Well, because this is an energy surrounding you. So if it would have been him, I would have said to you, talk to him because there's something he went through. And you're saying it's you. Okay, it's fine. When a love reading, people are intertwined. I'm asking about a love connection. So it could be you or him. So it's you. So now, first of all, may she rest in peace. And I'm sorry that you lost your grandma. Grandmas are the best. But this is also something that has to do with something that was left to you. So you may not be aware. This can be a coin or a brooch. I know that's small, but there's something significant of hers. Maybe she wants you to wear it. You know, out of all the people that she could protect, this is, you know, this is, no, it wouldn't be a rosary. I'm sure that the rosary is special and important, but this is jewelry. This is something that you can wear. A rosary is a relic that you pray with, and it's very pretty, but you don't adorn the body. So this is a jewelry. This is jewelry that she has left you or wants you to wear. She's trying to help a part of your life. So this means that this spirit has light. Spirits that just pass away and you don't really know where they're at for a while, they're having an issue crossing over. They eventually do, some of them. It's a long explanation, but she has a lot of light. That means she knows she passed, which is excellent. That means she was buried in the ground. She was not cremated. This tells me that she has light, and there has been masses in her name that have been expressed, and this has given her spirit light. Okay, so she's in a good space. However, she is wanting you to wear something. So this is apparently your love life or your career or where you feel hurt. She's trying to help. All right, so that's besides the point. Let's go back to the Leo. Okay, so Spirit is saying that I don't want to put you on the spot, but Spirit is saying to me that there's something you're not revealing to me that is a curveball in the reading. So okay, again, I don't ask people for info, if you've noticed, but there's something significant. So this tells me that either you're married in a technical sense and not fully divorced, or there's something on paper that hasn't gotten cleared yet, because the Leo is showing. Let me explain. When I look into the Leo and what he feels about you and what his perspective is about you and what's going on with him and his connection with you, this talks about him concerned that part of you is just focused on your studies, but wife comes up. So there's something with wife. There's something with documents. There's something with a paper. There's something that he's concerned about, something with you that he feels he doesn't really know all the details about it. Okay, so you could find out if he's still technically married. That is public record. No, I think you're missing what I'm saying, and that's okay. What I'm saying to you is a marital arrangement is coming up without the person knowing. So this means, let me check if it's him. 1 second. The Leo doesn't trust something about you that he doubts. Let me explain. You're asking me for a love reading. You're asking me to find out what's going on with you and the Leo. What's going to happen? What's going on right now? Okay. It's talking about distrust. There is something that he feels that you are, because you're involved in school and maybe he doesn't know what you're doing with school. There's something involved with you with papers or documents that he feels in the dark. He is mistrusting and thinking, damn, if I get into this deep with this woman, I don't know. I need to find out. Like, there's something I feel is not being addressed. All right, so a Leo's not always going to come up front and bam, tell me what's going on. So being an Aquarius moon, he's not going to talk a lot. Somebody with an Aquarius moon goes mute. No, it could be something. It could be something. So let me explain it again. So he feels, is English your first language? Don't get upset, I'm asking you that. I speak more than one language. I just wanted to know, is English your first? Because sometimes if I explain it in a different language, like if you speak Spanish, sometimes it'll click what I'm saying. Okay, perfect. Then it's not. Then we're on the good language. Then okay. Just wanted to make sure because I read for all international people. Okay, so all I'm trying to tell you is there's something that he doubts. There's something that he is not sure about details about you. So could he believe that you're married and you or like not fully divorced? Could he feel that somewhere, somehow, because sometimes Taurus does not explain enough. And you have double Sag, and maybe you looked over some detail, right? So Virgo gets obsesses over details and Sagittarius doesn't, right? So there's got to be something where he feels that you're not being fully honest. He doesn't think you're a liar, but he thinks, okay, so this is a doubt that he has. That means that he either felt it intuitively, just like if he were, smoochy with somebody else, you could feel it. I'm sure you'd be able to feel it. So he's picking up on something with you. He feels that he doesn't really know your status completely. Like there's things about you that are not, where he feels he's not fully in the light of knowing. He feels he's in the dark about some things with you. So this means you have to have a clear conversation. This means that you're waiting on him to see what he says. And he's kind of like, waiting for you to say something. He's an Aquarius moon. This man is not extremely vocal. Aquarius placements make people not communicative enough. Unless you're dealing with like a water sign or something. He's got fire with Aquarius. He does not explain things enough. Kind of. Or he's waiting on you to be clear enough so he knows what he's getting into. See, he's a Leo, so he's very careful. Leo men are never going to... I have a video on the feed where I review astro men as an astrologer. I kind of tell you like what they're about. I have one on Leo. Leo men are not crazy going to jump into something with a woman and be like, oh my God, baby, you're so gorgeous. Oh my God, marry me. They're not going to do that. They're going to just like wait and wait. And the woman's going to go like, dude, do you like me or not? And he's going to like be like, well, let's see. And it's like, hello. So he's not like jump into it. He wants to see the attraction is there 100% and you guys have some history. He wants to know a little bit more about what's going on so he doesn't make an idiot of himself. He wants to know, but you got to be careful because by you having a Sagittarius sun, a Sagittarius moon and rising, your mouth could be a little bit like too honest. Like, instead of saying, oh, you look handsome today, you'll probably say, oh my God, you have such a cute butt. Because, you're very like, blunt. So you got to be careful with that because he's a Leo. So you can't like shock the guy. So you kind of have to like, keep trying to stimulate things and then he'll make his move, but you got to be patient. So the attraction is there, but this is him concerned with, so what's going on? What's going on with her? I don't want to just ask her. I want to know like what's going on to see if I can like make my move, but I don't know yet. I want to get to know what's going on with her right now. I'm not sure, you see? Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to find out a little bit about the future, and then we're going to close the reading. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so here's the deal. This is going to close the reading, okay? Bottom line. I predict that you and the Leo are going to end up romantically involved. Hopefully, it's not a situationship. Maybe it could be. It depends on how you play the game and how you put your boundaries and the behavior part of your control. I see that you guys become romantically involved. Hopefully, it'll be boyfriend and girlfriend. But I see you romantically involved. So that means you kissy, kissy, smoochy, smoochy, okay? Once that happens, I also see somewhat of a friendship as well. However, the warning comes in, you can blow the chance with this guy because something you say can make him think there's somebody else. So he's interested in friendship. It's going to lead to kissy kissy romance. However, you can blow the chance because you can say something where you don't mean to, but you're not going to be understood clearly. You're going to kind of maybe make him think that if he doesn't do something in time, then you're going to go with someone else, or he's going to think that. Do not play the jealous card with this man. Do not say, oh, because this guy's calling me. Oh my God. Everywhere I go, there's like so many cuties. Oh, this guy's calling me again. He just wants to go out. Don't play the jealous card with this man. It will not help you. He'll be like, I don't want leftovers. Bye, Felicia. Like, he will not want that. So don't do that. And I suggest you kind of like take on a Libra attitude with this, okay? Do not say everything that comes into your mind. Do have a filter, please, because this guy is into you, but you may feel like it's not. So you're super fast paced and he's kind of slowing pace. I like the dynamic. I like that there's a lot of passion. I like that there's attraction, but the warning is showing you can make him think something different and he will get cold feet. So you want to be aware of Leo men. Okay, look up celebrity Leo men. Be aware the way that they act. I mentioned a bunch of celebrity examples on my video, whatever. I'm not saying you have to watch it. I'm saying understand how a Leo man works. They are not super fast. They take their time because to them, they want to mate with a princess. They want to choose the right girl. They are very homebound, kind of like girl next door, charming. I want to introduce her to mom. They're not going to just go for the next exciting thing. Although he's an Aquarius moon, which means that he secretly wants to be daring. He wants to be exciting and risque and crazy-like and rebellious, but he's not going to act upon it because it's not his sun sign. He is a turtle. Absolutely. And you have to be nice to the turtle. Okay? Be nice to the fucking turtle. Don't be a rabbit. Okay? So, yeah. So it's going to be fine. You just have to be a girl turtle and put on the little pink bow and be nice and peaceful as a little turtle. Please do not be the rabbit that you are naturally. Okay? Yes, you need patience very much, like buckets of it. Okay? because you will scare him off, especially with your mouth. Okay? He'll be like, whoa! Okay. That's something. You don't want to do that. You want to just play a little hard to get, you know, a little charming. Let him wander a little bit, you know, but don't give him any ideas. Of course, you're a double Sagittarius. You will feel like you're going to explode if he doesn't tell you what the hell is going on. But, you know, the good thing is you have a Taurus sun and you are a Venus child. So you know how to charm your man. Okay, so that's a good thing. Thank God for that Taurus. All right, sweetheart, it was nice meeting you. Just to let you know, readings with me are a lot shorter. But like I said, sometimes I get a little lost puppy who doesn't know what's going on with astrology, and I didn't want to leave you like that. So I did my best in filling in the pockets, all right? But yeah, I do encourage in the future, if you ever want to learn deep about astrology, I'm glad you know your time of birth. That's excellent. All right, and don't let astrology be something that you just ignore. It's got so much info in it for you, sweetheart. Okay, and congratulations on your book. I hope you read another one. All right, sweetie, have a good one, and it's nice to meet you. Thank you, Nicole. All right, guys, the next one is, let's see. So I do have a private to do. However, I do have space for one more, so I am going to fulfill that. So let's see. This one is... So I do see one for Sam. I'm not going to say any other information other than just the first name because of privacy. But Sam... Okay, it's the same name. Okay, sometimes people use like a different username than the name. Okay, let me see what you ordered. Oh, you got an astrology one. Okay, same one. All right, so the big thing with this one is that you have to know. So I'm a love specialist in astrology. And there's many charts that I do. But the key to it is when a person knows, you know, day, month, year, exact time on their birth certificate, and the latitude and longitude or location when they were born. If you don't have that, you said, I'm not even really sure what I ordered, but it looked good. Oh my God, you're funny. You don't even know what you ordered. Oh my God. What sign are you? I have to know. That's funny. Look, I just picked one, okay? I don't know what the hell it is, but I like it. What sign are you? Do you know your sign? People ask me my sign. I say, look, I'm a mermaid, a unicorn, and an alien, okay? Oh, you're a Virgo. Oh, okay. Usually Virgos are like, they read everything. Obsessively. Excuse me. It said this in the fine print. There's two of them and you only gave me one. I see it right here. Virgo, okay. And Tauruses usually read everything. Are you sure those are your signs? I'm just kidding. All right, let's go ahead and start. So hopefully you know your time of birth. Are you new to astrology? You have a Libra stellium though? Hey, I have a Libra stellium. That has nothing to do with not reading it. That means something else. Libra Mercury. No, that has nothing to do with it either. Well, maybe you just felt daring today. Okay. So let's see. So do you have your exact time of birth, Sam, that you know? Remember, mom's memory doesn't count. So usually that's what it's... I mean, time corrections are possible, but, you know, they take time. Okay. So what city were you born in, sweetheart? And the date and stuff so I can pull up your chart. Okay. 9/15/93. Okay. Westwood. Okay. And the time, 9:40 p.m. And you're sure on that time, sweetheart? That's like stamped on your birth certificate, because I read for triplets and twins, and it's got to be down to the second. They all have different destinies. People don't think it matters, but it really does. I mean, I can still give you a good reading without it, but okay, perfect. Nice. Okay. Okay. So this is a love reading that you got, but of course I can convert it to whatever you want. Usually with a love reading, I will run love charts. It's especially very helpful when the person knows the day they met their significant other or love interest, and of course the love information on the person too. So like when they were born and stuff. But sometimes people don't know it. Yes, you are correct. You are a Virgo. Although, okay, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. You do have you do have a Libra cusp. You do have a Libra cusp, because a stellium would be different. So you do have a Libra cusp, which means you do give in to impulse. So impulse buying. Okay, Richard. Okay, so I'm not sure. Okay, so 13096 is all you know. That's all you know is okay. All right, I'll do my best. Okay, and then do you have the location or well, I need the location of where he was born, even if you don't know the time. No, check it out. You see that wheel I have all the way back there behind me? It's like a blue wheel, right? You see that all the way back there? Okay. So it's 1 degree for every day of the year for 365 days, right? Okay, Ridgewood. Okay, hang on one second. Ridgewood, New Jersey, 2:33 p.m. Okay, got it. So I'm going to build his then. So you got to think you were born on 23 degrees of Virgo. And when does the sign change over? Do you know? The 29/30th degree, which is when 29 hits 30, which is really 0. Right? 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. And it's really, you don't count the 30. So you're 6 degrees from Libra. So, yeah, you're like right there. So Libra's, the sun, Libra sun and rising, not stellium, not moon, can be very swayed in the moment. They could just like be shopaholics. They can have expenses and then accrue debts and then be like, oh my God, I didn't notice. They can have like a card and it's like, oh shit, I thought I closed that credit card. Oh my God, what did I do? Wait, I paid it. Oh my God, I paid it 8 times. It kept charging me. Like Libras sometimes do that. It's like, hello, land down on earth, thank you. So sometimes they do that. Yes. Yes. On a whim, oh, it's a sale. It's a one-time day. I have to. Oh my God. You know, it's just, yes, this is a Libra thing. We understand. It's the moment, darling. It's the moment. So that's probably why I just went with the reading I liked. I didn't know why. I'm like, that's so weird. That's not Virgo. That's because you have a lot of Libra. But a Libra stellium would be different. It would have a role in your career, and it has to actually do with art, believe it or not. Very interesting. Okay, so you are a Virgo, but Libra cusp. A Virgo moon, as you are aware, which means you think you're the FBI. Don't tell me you don't. I know damn well as a Virgo moon, you think you are the FBI. I'll spy on you for that. and I'll get you too, right? I know. Okay, Miss Virgo moon. Okay, so then you have a Taurus rising. Oh my Lord, bless your little heart. So you have a lot of Venus in you, a lot of Venus energy. Let me check something out here. But yet you have an Earth and Fire Grand Trine. You are a very interesting character. Yes, you are. Wow. Okay. So before I get distracted looking at your natal chart, which I love doing, by the way, you can tell I just love looking at charts so much. Let me go ahead and take a look at, so we're focusing on love, right? Am I right? Is this what you want to do? Is that, fire trine? Okay. So trines, grand trines, not trines, grand trines are gifts and talents, that a person is born with, and they are more on the rare side. Not everyone has grand trines. Some people have one, some people have two, most have zero. But that doesn't mean they have no talent or anything. It's just that there's a gifted, like when a kid is gifted, like there's a gifted talent that a person has, that a super intelligence they have with a specific area of their life, a gift, a set of skills that is unique. And you happen to have an incredibly strong Earth Grand Trine, and you have a very strong Grand Trine in fire. So those are multiple. They have to be analyzed. When I do natal charts, I break them down. But on the fly, I will tell you that when you put your mind to want something and you wish for it and wish for it and wish for it and wish for it, it comes your way. And when you want to wheel and deal with people and maneuver groups and be the maven of the operations and logistics of a situation, you definitely are the maverick. So I'm going to tell you that right there. So you're good with people when you need to be. Okay. So let me go ahead. So your soulmate is a Virgo. And that has its explanation in a woman's chart. In a man's chart, the soulmate that's marked, it doesn't mean that's his only spouse. A person can have multiple spouses. A person can have multiple partnerships they live with. A person can have different baby mamas or baby daddies. It's not about that. That gets into a deep analysis when I do love charts, certain love charts. But what is important is that there's one love marked on every chart. Now, the ideal situation is that the love found on a man's chart is his ideal and they're happily ever after. But that's odd because not everybody is the same. So that's like saying everyone in the world should have red hair. It's like, no, people have hair of all different colors. So that means that love comes in all different shapes, sizes, and destinies. And there are many happy stories and many happy combinations and many sad ones. So that mentality of the soulmate is the ideal, no, there are different kinds that cross your path. Now, analyzing them is what I do. So yours is a Virgo. I will describe him. The love in a woman's chart is the love that changes her. Sometimes it's for the better. Like, let's say that she couldn't find love with anybody else, and then all of a sudden, the one that she finds ends up being the love of her life indefinitely, like for the rest of their lives. That's the ideal. But sometimes it's the love that changes her. Maybe it's something that made her not want marriage and just want a partnership. Maybe it's the one that made her not want kids, or maybe it was something that taught her. Hopefully it wasn't something traumatic. Sometimes it is, but that doesn't mean that that's the only thing in the life. Now, another cool thing about you is that you have an incredible amount of Venus energy, which means Venus will never stop trying to find love for you. So if you're in a happy relationship, great. But if you're not, Venus will never stop with dating age. I've seen even high energy Venetian women have love even in their 80s. But I'm just saying, it's very cool. So it is something special to Taurus and Libra that Venus gives you extra in the chart. All right, so this man is a Virgo. I will describe him, and then we will go on to the love guy that you're asking about.
Hi. What are you doing, little puny? Yeah, you are. Hi. You came to say hi?
I love you. I love you. Now get lost. Go. Bye, bye, bye. Okay, so this is not too lost. Knowing you, you'll eat a hole in the wall. Okay, so let me go ahead and describe this man for you. Okay, so there's going to be something with him that his style and his way of being is not. Oh, I don't know if you've met him or married him already, or maybe he was an ex, or like I said, if the man I'm describing already happened, it could be sun, moon, or his rising, either his sun sign, his moon, or his rising. If this fate already happened, either you can relive and connect again. And if it happened, that doesn't mean love is gone from your life. Absolutely not. I explained that. But I am going to talk to you about the man in your chart. Why? Well, I'm a love astrologer. I specialize in that. And when someone comes to me for a love reading, I naturally do that anyway because it's like the most important love mark on the chart. Okay, so this is a man that he has he's not caught up in like this sophisticated, preppy way of dressing. He's going to be more simplistic. So, I don't know, I guess, like more comfortable, like more of a comfortable way of dressing, This person also loves racing or things with, maybe horseback or maybe something rustic like farming or something kind of like a little bit of a cowboy in him. There's something kind of nature, maybe like a taste for that. There's something very earthy about this person, okay, in their taste. They're very, very honest. And naturally they come across as very, very cynical and critical, but they don't mean it in a bad way. They're very sincere, but their sincerity can come across harsh. Yeah. So this is the guy. So this is the soulmate in your chart. So hopefully you haven't met him yet, and which it doesn't sound like you have, because these are things that you will notice right away. And I'm going to read you. If you met him later and this was more of his teenage years, maybe I could see the change. That's why I include both. I include describing the younger self and then a little bit older. Okay. All right. He will be looked up to because of his strong honesty. Hang on, I gotta plug in my, 1 second guys, so that the battery. Okay, there we go. So he is going to be looked up to for his honesty. Kind of like somebody who just doesn't hold back. Not blunt in an ugly, like too much, but just you're gonna ask for the truth. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you, and I'm gonna give it to you unequivocally. All right. So he's a person that is going to want and yearn for the country life. So he's going to express and feel and want and hopefully act upon, but sometimes people financially can't act upon what they want, but he's going to express it. Is going to be part of who he is. He wants that rural country experience. So farms or lots of land, or, this is what, that kind of wilderness, this is his thing. Okay? Okay, now, okay, so this is a little bit older now. So there's an issue that's going to make a very important thing change in his life. This is going to be at a peak point in his career. So it's going to be usually in the 30s or 40s. Sometimes it can be the 50s, but that's going to be the age range. Sometimes I've seen it play out in extremely late 20s and 30s. That's on a very rare side. And in the 50s, that's on the rare side as well. We're going to hit 30s and 40s. Those 20 years is going to be the range of this time for this to play out in his life. There's going to be a very big issue, quarrel, dispute with someone that's foreign. And it's going to cause a very big problem for his career. So if he has an immigration status that is a visa or something like that, this can cause it to, be revoked. If he is native and it's not a problem and it's nothing like that, it can be something where a person that is foreign can maybe hold the authority on either letting him go or causing a career problem, or maybe fired or causing a career. So there's going, because he's going to be quarrel-like. He's very peaceful, but there's going to be a stage in his career at some point where he's very quarrel-like for a time. He gets more argumentative than normal for a while. Not always, but just for a phase in the life. And at this particular time, it hurts his career very badly. And it limits him. There's going to be something that it's kind of like, I don't want to say a stupid term like fall from grace. That doesn't even apply. But I can't think of anything else on the flags. It's super late. I can't think of anything that matches, because I'm not super alert. I need coffee, but it's something like when a person just takes a hit and then another hit and it kind of spirals a little bit, and they really go through a terrible phase in their career, because it's like, who would think that one argument with a little bit of insubordination could end up in like not only a write-up, but then it's like this, and then it's like a terminated, and then there's like a debt problem, and then that leads to another debt, and then the person gets out of that funk, but it's bad enough where it like absolutely makes a section of his, somewhere in that age gap, a couple of years absolutely get hit hard, kind of like what people went through with the pandemic or something like that, like a really hard hit in his destiny. Okay, and this is the type of connection, this is the type of thing where when he's going through this, he has to make sure that his marriage doesn't take a dive. So it's the description that I'm telling you. It's different for everybody. It's whatever I see at the time. It's whatever is being shown to me at the time. So sometimes I'm able to there is a darker skin tone than yours. So if you, I don't know what you look like, but whatever you are, so if you are Mediterranean, this person would be a little bit more olive. If you are cinnamon tone, he can be ebony. If you are freckled, maybe he can be more like tan. So there is a darker complexion to his skin than yours, okay? But anyway, there's more of a description of his life, you know? Yeah. So this is important. This is what this, and the important thing is that when you're in the relationship, you'll know right away when you meet this person because of the what I'm explaining to you. It's very technical, so it's like no way to miss it. And you have to be careful that the relationship or the marriage doesn't ruin because of his career. Sometimes money problems, not always, but a lot of times money is a factor in hurting relationships. Believe it or not, some of the key components to marriages not working out, sometimes it's because the foundation is weak and because they weren't set up in a way where financial issues form, kind of like a cushion. So this is it. Now I'm going to look at your love life in particular, not just with him, in general. See if I see any important flags that you should know about. Okay, so you do have something that does strike my okay. You have to be careful in general in your love life that when you can, let me be very careful how I say this. I was going to say when you convince yourself. I don't mean it like that. What I mean is like sometimes when people feel emotionally very strong about something and their mind's made up. No, I see it. I feel it this way and I don't want to change. And they feel very like gung-ho about their opinion, their perception, the way they see it, like it's the way it is. It can hurt your marriage. So this means that there's going to be times in your life, and this is going to be triggered. So this is where horoscopes are going to tell you when this gets triggered, because it's on your natal chart. You have a specific mark here where your inner emotions about your relationship battle your head. And it talks about you being on the defensive, and it talks about something bothering you and building up slowly that you do not address in pieces. So it catches up to you, and once it does, you can be very drastic with your behavior, which means you can shut someone out. This means that what you should say, you don't say at the right time. You hold on to it, you're silent, and the silence hurts. It builds, it corrupts, it destroys. So this is one of those things where you're going to have to push against remember that character is destiny and destiny is character. Your life is shaped by who you are, and the way you are shapes your life. So it's ironic. So that means that when you handle things a little bit differently that go against your natural grain, you're going to get a different result. So Virgo shuts things out and lives in silence sometimes, and the brain doesn't stop thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. So a Virgo can have stomach problems, ulcers and gastrointestinal discomfort because of the amount of pressure they hold on to, because of the pain, because they don't talk about it, they don't address it, and they bury it deep, and then it comes back to haunt them. and that's not healthy. And a Libra will be terrified of confrontation, so they are silent about it. Correct. And that inflammation will be remedied. This is a belief. It is not fact, because mind, body, and soul are linked. So being that I'm a psychic and I address spiritual things, I don't diagnose ever. I don't pretend to be a doctor, nothing like that. But mind, body, soul is linked. So since I address the soul part, the connection to spirituality will reflect in the body and the mind. So this is why people get readings sometimes, because they feel that the stress relief they feel from spiritual practices and spiritual things will improve their mind headspace, and then that will carry out peace into the body. They sleep better, they feel better, whatever, they feel positive. So it is related. So I'm trying to tell you that the autoimmune root aggravation can be remedied by expressing to someone what you feel and making and pushing against, because then the nature will say, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, because you're predisposed, you're wired in a way that you're already going to be that in behavior. So if you rewire that and say, I feel uncomfortable and I don't like it, but I'm going to do it because it's good for me. So if broccoli makes you gag and you eat the broccoli and it makes you gag, you're like, I don't want to eat it. Eventually you're going to like it. And then you're going to reap the benefits of the nourishment. So it's just an example. I'm just saying to you, this is what this talks about. It talks about your inner self being at battle with, you're going to doubt and be suspicious whether this person was honest to you, whether they're telling you the whole truth. And then that can be, you can push a false narrative to yourself that can, hurt the relationship. And then they'll still love you loyally because you happen to be Virgo, so much Virgo. And Virgo is very lucky with love the other way. Virgo will always have someone love them deeply and not want to leave. But Virgo inside themselves sometimes suffers and wants to leave because they don't accept the love that's really there because they don't see it. Do you understand? They share some of that with Leo. So there could be some self-defeat that's self-imposed. Right. So that's what I see with the love that is the most flag, the most important flag. I mean, we could be here for hours because this is very deep, but that's the most important. Now let's go on to, is there anything else that I want to go over really quick? Okay. Let me see something here with Venus. You have a Venus Leo, but let me see. So, the sun, the sun is ruling your Venus. So, and you have it at 23 degrees. I have to look at that. This talks about you naturally wanting to change your career or home location naturally. So this talks about wanting to absolutely pick up and leave from what you're doing out of nowhere. Just boom, I'm done. I don't want to do this. Very interesting. Because it's interesting because you have this combination of being laid back and kind of going with the flow and just waiting and not questioning the status quo or anything. But then there's this part of you that automatically is just very I'm just doing this. I just feel like it. And I usually fueled by temper. Interesting. Okay, but yeah, I'm going to have to examine your Venus deeply. So I give Venus readings that are very, very, very long. But yeah, it does. It's very interesting that it's Leo fueled, Leo ruled. So you have that Venetian water feminine sign, and then you have such a hot masculine sign, and in the 23rd degree of abrupt change. Very interesting. That's very interesting in the love karma. But going further, let me just go ahead and do the oh wait, there's something else I notice here. Let me see something. Yeah, so I don't want to bore you and turn this into like a life read. I know that you didn't get one of those from me. I get it. I don't want to sit here putting you through all of that. Life reads are long and they talk about all the areas of life. I know it's love, and I'm going to move on to his. But something caught my eye and I don't want to let it go. So I'm just going to look at one more thing here. So when you do get married, I don't know how many times you've been married or if you've been close to it or maybe were, but this talks about every marriage. Sometimes a lot of Virgo placements have 2 marriages. But anyway, I would have to look at that. And I have to examine your 11th house, actually, in particular, yours, because of where your moon is. Because it will tell me a lot about your marriage, even though that's not the marriage house, but there's something important with your moon that I have to examine that, your moon in particular. Anyway, after marriage, you will see financial stability, financial growth. But this also talks about a person being very, I don't want to sound rash, but obsessive about love. Like figuring it out. Like when a person sometimes people just let love is an interest topic and they want to they let it happen. This is when a person really fixates on it. Oh my God, I got to get it right. This has to happen. I can't live until this is fixed. I want to figure this out. I have to address this. I have to be on this. This is very high energy level on love. But it also leads you to hide your inner emotions a lot. Because you see that the problem with this moon that you have, which is a beautiful moon, by the way, but you do get attached very easily. And there's this like connection to education in yourself, destiny, that you feel like what you study and what you're doing. And, this is very complicated moon. There's a lot of hurt in career here because when a person studies, they don't necessarily apply it where they studied. So they'll find that they make a living and an income. So this is when a person very young starts to figure out the love part and then the career part. Like, I studied this so hard, why didn't I get a job? And this is what I was supposed to do. What am I supposed to do? They try to figure it out. There's a lot of ups and downs. This is when there's a great deal of inflexibility in areas there should be flexibility. I'm sorry, I'm reading and I forgot to read your comments. That's fine. You don't particularly care to be. That's fine. And there's nothing that says you have to be, and there's nothing that says that you should be. I'm just letting you know that if you ever decided to, the connection of financial partnership, the legal, the legality of marital money would just double. So I'm just saying that if you decide, because we live in a modern world, this is even beyond, ancient Greece. There's just so much to astrology, so it's so ancient. Obviously the things that the stars say, ultimately there are things in your choice, for example, fertility. People can choose not to have children and there could be fertility in the chart, and so it's up to you to live your life. But I'm just saying that if you ever decided to do that, It would bring wealth, but you can also find wealth on your own as well. Why? Well, because financial security is extremely important to you. Yes, it's important to everyone, but being so mercurial like you are with that double Virgo, you want to put your passion in a career, which is why this moon has a destiny where it tries so hard to find their comfort zone. They try to find their hat they're supposed to wear in life. They try to find, like, what am I supposed to do? I want to do this. I want it to feel good. I want this to be like my second home. I want to pour myself into my work. You said, I love Virgo moon is tough. You shouldn't. Virgo moon, it's a beautiful moon. The only reason that I said it was tough is because you have it in the house that you have it in. That's why. Because Leo, where if the moon is living where Leo rules, it's disturbed more. It's hotter. It's not a cooling. Imagine that where the moon is supposed to be is quiet and night, but it's in the one that is most lit. It's in where the sun is supposed to be. So there's a lot of hot and cold. It's very unstable emotionally sometimes. It's harder. It's harder. Not that it's in Virgo. It's the fact that it's in the 5th house. That's the challenge here. Okay. So now, there's definitely a lot of 11th house things here that talk about marriage. And when I say marriage, it doesn't necessarily have to be the legal term of it. It could be your living partner. It could be your romantic partner for life, your stable boyfriend or fiance, or just life partner, whatever. That's what it means. It doesn't necessarily mean the piece of paper. One of the things that, is very helpful to you also as well is when you teach and you also shed your spiritual light on people, it's very therapeutic for you. Very much so. And the reason that I'm going to look to things tied to your 11th and 2nd is because this is where money will pour in with this situation. So that's why I'm looking at that so intensely. Okay, so now, so that caught my eye because you have such a combination here of emotions, love, figuring out your life, career, and there's a lot of hyperfixation on things that you don't have control over. And that's why I decided to look at that so much, because love and money in your particular case are so connected. And when I say love, I say marriage, but you get what I mean by that. Whoever you bond your life with and form a life with is what I meant. Okay, so now let me go ahead and take a look at this gentleman with yours, and let's do this. Do you remember the day that you met, by the way? Oh, hey, Leah. Yes, I did. I have not forgotten. I didn't forget. I forgot that one time, but that was it. I made a note of it and I did it and I got it done. I just had to email you about it. And I will do that today. I usually do that like on Mondays and stuff, but definitely I will do it now. Yeah, but I did not forget. I have it all. But thank you. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, I'm sorry. Sam said, yeah, it's very therapeutic for you. Oh, that's where you met? Okay. Okay. No, because I do something with that date. But if you don't have it, that's okay. So let me go ahead and see what I see for him and then tie it up with the relationship status. Not status, but like the outcome of what I see for now. So let me go ahead and do this real quick. Excuse me. Let me just go ahead and add this chart now. All right, so this is an Aquarius sun. I'm sure you already know this information, but he's an Aquarius sun. That's beautiful because your moon is. Oh no, your moon. I thought your moon was Aquarius. No, you are a Virgo moon. That's right. Okay. Okay, Aquarius sun, Gemini moon, and the rising is Cancer. Ouch. With your placements, this is rough. Wow. This is a rough one. Cancer and Virgo can have a very harmonious connection. Leo can hurt Cancer's feelings, and Cancer can hurt Leo's feelings. They are both luminaries. Luminary ruled. Gemini has a hard time with Virgo very much. The Libra part of you can have a very interesting connection to Gemini, so that Libra in you can definitely connect with that. But that Aquarius is an outlier. Very much so, especially for... But then again, even though you have a lot of Leo-led places, with a lot of effort, you can navigate that Aquarian sun of his. But this is a rough connection. There is definitely chemistry, but it's almost like you have to change for him. All right, let's look at his soulmate, or this, in a man's chart, it's the love of his life, the greatest love. People don't want to hear that. If it doesn't work out, that doesn't mean he won't love again. But in a man's chart, the woman in the chart is it for him. In a woman's chart, it's versatile. It's more complex. It's more, it's more intense. In a man, it's more definitive. So there is no sign on a man's chart for the woman. There's just a description. So I will describe her. Okay, so let's see. All right, I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's not you. So that means that there was something that it was, if it already happened, it didn't work. Things end badly or they wouldn't end. And it is what it is, and that was that. Nothing to talk about. He wants to move on with his life and be happy, obviously. And we want to look to the future. So I don't read everything. If it's redundant or silly or just in the past, it doesn't matter. So let that be. Let's focus on you guys, which is what matters right now. So because of that, I'm going to turn to a horoscope. I'm going to lay both your charts now into one, kind of like a synastry. It's another love technique. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen in the future with both of you in the near future, so you can have an idea. Does that sound okay? Or did you want me to address something specific? You've loved him for 10 years, though you've been so close, haven't seen him in 3. Yeah. So I don't doubt that there's a very deep, obviously with loving each other that long, that's not something so simple. That's a very, very deep and important connection. But it does show that there was someone in his past. And, maybe even married once, or at least maybe an engagement or something that didn't end right. Yeah, so you guys have a history, so that means, there is a very deep link. Without a doubt, obviously, 10 years is a very long time, but I'm going to see, okay? So let's move on to sometimes there's things that are just redundant to read, and you just have to use your logic, and I just see that let's just move forward with this. So let's focus on the future. Okay. All right. I'm sorry for the time it takes to put in all this information. Astrology is like that. Tarot's just like boom, 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 card, but or sometimes I don't use tools, sometimes with astrology, but anyway, I still have to use a chart at some point. Okay, here we go. So the reason that I ask for the day that you met is there is a love reading that I do that talks about what the relationship's going to be forever. And it's based on reading your moon. Very unique way of reading the moon. But in this particular case, since you don't have the exact time and date that you met, I cannot do that. So that's okay. There's other ways to get information. Just as good. All right, here we go. This is Are there that many Westwoods? Oh my God. I found it. Holy shiznert. Shiza. All right, one more thing. I gotta pull up, I'm gonna add this to the chart. Let me put in some codes here for some stuff I want on it. And here we go. I'm about to start reading. Okay, so what I'm about to read is a love horoscope on what's gonna be coming up for both of you. And mainly for you, your love life. This is more about your love life with him in it than just about you and him, because I don't have the date you met. Okay, and the stuff on the synastry, there's not going to be anything wild that you wouldn't already know after knowing him that long. All right, here we go. Let's start off. So the first thing is that I do see a love interest, potential suitor coming to you for physical romance. So this is a guy that's going to present himself and make himself easily toward you. So this is pursuing you or wanting to just, it's not going to be difficult for you. So this is, I see that you will be romantically, physically, smoochy pursued very soon without any effort. So this is romance energy coming towards you very fast is the first thing that I see. The second thing that I see is there's going to be a change to the way you feel about marriage. So today, it sounds ridiculous because today, you feel the way you feel, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's like no right or wrong. You either like broccoli or you don't. So that's fine. It's just that I happen to see that there's going to be a very significant change and shift in how you feel about that. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be the legal paper. It can be about what future long-term looks like. You may become more attached very soon and look at things more like his and hers. I want you with me. I don't want to live apart kind of thing. There's this homing, wifey vibe, and everybody's going to carry that differently. And that I do see that happening to you. I also see that it's triggered by a conversation. I don't know how close you are with the father, but this is a masculine fatherly influence. Sometimes it's a guy friend or a brother or the father or an uncle, whatever. But this is it's going to be in close proximity with this experience where you feel that sometimes it's even seen in movies, which is so weird. Because it can be, inspirational too. But I see this from actual a story that causes a change as well. So not only are you going to be going through emotional change and attachment, but I also see this being triggered by influence. All right, and this is when there's a change in perspective about a beau. A spouse, a potential spouse, a potential long-term. And it comes from conversation and heartfelt things. Now, this has a direct correlation with a memory that has to do with something that was scary or health related. So there could be something like, appreciate life, or I shouldn't let time pass by, something like that. The next thing that I see that's important here is that there is a direct correlation between a very strong lover, which seems like his energy. Why do I say strong lover? Because it's when there's romantic physicality involved with deep emotion, and yet there's no title. That means either a boyfriend, either someone that you were dating that now solidifies the title, or someone that you just meet that wants that anyway. So sometimes when people date, it's just superficial, and sometimes they're really wanting that long-term partner. So what am I saying to you? A boyfriend type, it feels to me like the one you are into, the 10-year guy, because there's a history here. However, there's a change coming. There's a direct correlation between this opportunity opening up itself after a 3-month waiting period, and it affects your career. So that means that there's going to be a potential change to your field or your job or your career or what you do or your focus for what you do, and your love life complicating your career path. So obviously you don't have a clone. Sometimes I wish we could order one or two on Amazon. That would be great. But we only have one of ourselves. So this is overwhelming energy. So this is like when a person is saying, okay, I have to focus on this for my finances, for my my financial well-being, for my career. And all of a sudden this complication comes in and I have to deal with that. So this is a lot on your plate coming up in the next 3 months or so. So today is April 20th. So this kind of like would be maybe the beginning of August, sort of, where it places it, something like that, ballpark. And this is important for you to realize, because what I'm already seeing is that there's going to be a turbulent yet continuous and consecutive pattern with your love life and a man. I do see 2 influences, so I do see someone new that expresses their desire to date you and so forth. But I also see a significant marking its place. So I am seeing the man you're talking about in your reading, but I also see there's this new energy as well. And this person seems fair to me. So that's a loose term. So I would say if it's brown eyes, it would be lighter, or maybe it's a lighter color, anything in the lighter shades. So if the person is a brunette, it would be a lighter brunette. Fair could be a blonde. You get the picture. So this seems more fair to me, this man. But I also see the one that has the history. So I see that you choose the one of the history. So I see that you stay focused with this 10-year passion. Do I see it opening its doors and being clear? No, I don't. I see things kind of like not dragging on. I see things moving forward, but sometimes I just see it kind of stagnant, but moving along. Well, okay, that's contradictory. What I mean is time goes by in the next couple of months to the rest into this year where he's semi in the picture, but things don't get wings and flourish clearly. Okay? And when he's ready, because I see you ready before him. And when he's ready, I see that it's going to complicate things for you because the limbo that's happening, you have the patience for it with your Libra side, but the Virgo does not. And this is difficult. Now, I also see that I do see a spiritual change in your, okay, how do I say it? Okay, I see how spirituality, there we go. I see how spirituality is going to inspire or open a door to your work environment. Not the work and career itself, but the environment or the groups that you keep or the places that you are involved in. So societies, clubs, co-workers, organizations, whatever it is that you have in your life that, falls under that category. I see that spirituality is going to come make its mark and change in it. So that is positive. What do I mean by spirituality? It can be anything that you believe in, anything that inspires or comes from the umbrella term spiritual. And it is what it is. It's pretty. It's just enjoy it. Nothing to, rack your brain over that message really. Okay, let's get into a little bit more deeper stuff. So I do see some issues here. And this is about writing and communicating something that gets misunderstood and causes you a problem that you do not see right away. So this is a small war that forms that you don't look for, that you didn't do intentionally. I would say this is around autumn and winter, maybe the end of autumn, beginning of winter, something like that this year. So this is a time where you communicate something because you believe it, so you express your belief, kind of like foot and mouth. Okay. And it causes a problem with another problem on it. And in some weird shape or some way, shape, or form, I do see this as career related. So this can be problems in the workplace because of something that's said. And it does cause envy and a hidden enemy, and there's like some gossip there. Will you live through it? Yes. There's not a lot of drama there. It's just, it is what it is. It'll fade. Just be aware around this time. When you go to openly express what you feel, maybe think twice. With love here, I do see a problem as well. This is when the problem that I see this year in your love life is how you waiting on person XYZ, whatever, messes up with your planning and your timeline that you need. So you have your own tempo and the way that you live your life, your goals, your rhythm, and I see that this is disruptive. So that's one of the big takeaways I see this year for your love life. is that you're gonna put your focus in something that is swaying because it is not the timing. When you're ready, they're not, but then when they are, you kind of like feel sour about it. That doesn't mean it's not going to work out. It's just going to complicate it. And I see that there's going to be a more difficult, plateful with other things in your life that are going to be coming up, where you won't have as much dedicated time for your love life with a clear head as you do now. So trust in the timing. If something does not pan out, there's always a reason. Yes, you're drawn to each other. Yes, you're destined in each other's lives, or you wouldn't have met, and you wouldn't have had something so long, and and it wouldn't be so heartfelt. So obviously that is a destined tie. However, if it's not working out and you're both trying, that's also a reason why. Maybe you're hyperfixating on a connection that doesn't serve you and doesn't give you what you need. But anyway, I digress. Let's continue. I also see, I see you falling very deeply in love, especially probably by the beginning of next year. So that doesn't mean you don't fall in love now. Obviously, there's someone already in your heart. And it seems like this is with that person. But I also see a very big change in your love life happening drastically at the beginning of this year. I am seeing that you change. Okay. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Just what I thought. Let me tell you what's going to go down, okay? No, I don't want to upset you. I don't want to stress you out. Readings are supposed to help people. Before I say something, because I'm very delicate with people and I'm very cautious, I don't want to give off any trigger warning. Is it okay to tell you some unplanned, kind of like a little bit of rough stuff that's coming in the future? I want to check in with you first. You're going to be okay, and this is for a reason, and it's going to end up in something very positive. But there's some rough stuff, and before I blurt it out, I want to make sure, are you okay to listen to it? You want me to continue with the reading? Do you feel emotionally in a comfortable space? Okay. Okay, you always have to be careful with trigger warnings, and people can be in a delicate state. You don't want to just blurt something out. I'm very cautious with that. Okay, so this is what's going to happen with the Aquarius guy, okay? The 10-year guy. I see that the in and out bonding, connection, passion, chemistry, dealing with each other is going to continue. In fact, it may progress. But I see that when so April, May, June, July, August, something like that, okay? I see that you will have moments where you feel like it's clear and let's just do this. And then I feel that you're going to feel like he's putting you through a hamster wheel. Okay? Be patient. Realize that this is just temporary. It talks about you being ready and he's not, and then he starts to kind of be ready, and then you are not wanting it. But not like you say no. It's more like you're not even hungry anymore. The dinner got cold, So I see this kind of moody, rigid feeling for a little bit. I see some career stuff happening after that complicates things. And then I see that you have this sort of epiphany in the love, and something in you just absolutely changes. I mean, like, changes. And I see that you start to live through a new self with a new lens of, you know, that you finally say to yourself at the beginning of next year, somewhere around that time frame, that you're tired, and it puts you through the ringer. Oh, okay, yeah, that can't help. Yeah, him not approving of what you do. Yeah, that's, if you make your money and you're doing good and everything like that, you know, I mean, unless it's something like, you know, super unethical, but if it's something where he can just get over it, come on, you know. Anyway, it talks about timing. And anyway, it continues, and it goes on to, this is showing me that in the beginning of the new year, you have this somewhat epiphany, and you kind of rewire and restructure, and you say, enough, no more. Like, I just need a break. Like, I need a new path. Like, no. And this is what it looks like. And it looks like a year from now. So let's say March, maybe. I see you in a new relationship. Or at least a relationship that's really good quality opens its doorway to you, and hopefully you take it. Because I see that it is very lucky for you, and I see that your willingness to have your single meter bleeping and your vibe and energy being open to dating, you will see that communication happens easily, and you will see how many potential suitors come out of the woodwork. Some will be frogs, and some will be princes disguised as frogs. You got to be patient. They're not all frogs. But I do see that, you will have the willingness to open your love life up to receive, your love life being fulfilled and meeting new people. If you decide at this point next year to close those doors because of fear or trauma or stress or just not over the healing, then you're going to close the door on opportunity, because this is when you can completely meet someone new. So is it going to work out with this guy at this time? I would say that the odds are more against it than for it. I would say that you should follow your heart and try as hard as you can and put your best foot forward, but have your boundaries, care for yourself, and just always monitor, because nobody in the world is going to put you first but you. Your job is to love you and take care of you and value you. And readings don't force people to change their behavior. Readings will tell you the forecast, and you decide if you want to take an umbrella or not. Okay? So this is what I see that is happening. Now there's going to be deeper details. Obviously, I'm giving you just the well-rounded, good, bad, ugly kind of thing. I see that a relationship in this year and next year with this man is very far-fetched. I see that it brings complication. But then again, my definition of a relationship is when two people decide to give each other title, settle down, and commit. Maybe your definition is just seeing each other and having a physical bond and being able to have a friendship with the physical situationship, and some people are okay with that. And that's fine. You're able to have connection and bond, but it's that title. So I don't want you to put my definition on yours. It's whatever I'm just trying to give you what it is. So is it easy with this man? No, it is not. Are there things you can do? Well, there's always something a person can do. Obviously, there is one option. When you get to the point where you're tired of waiting and the food got cold and now he's hungry kind of thing, you can change how you feel and force it within yourself and decide to match him where he's at. The problem is that Libra cannot be forced to emotionally bond with someone when they don't feel it. Okay, so he has you blocked on everything. Okay, I see it picking up, but not in the same flavor. That's why I say that this is such a difficult journey. That this is such a difficult journey with this connection. It's not over, it's just rough. Are there things you can do? Yes. You know what putting your best foot forward is. It depends on what you prioritize. If you prioritize succeeding with him, then you know more than anyone the moves you have to make and the behaviors and what you have to do to make him come around. You know him, you've studied him, you know it. I see it coming around anyway, especially if you don't challenge him. So unfortunately, one of the things to tell him is, yeah, you're right. Now, here's where it comes complicated. Is a Virgo going to tell, is a double Virgo going to tell someone, okay, I'm going to lower myself and go like this to my tongue and not tell you what I really feel because I'm going to pretend for you? I don't know. You might, because of that Libra part, but I don't know. Libra also doesn't put up with things. Libra will say something when they feel it, when they're pushed to no end, they will just leave. So Libras abandon when they just can't anymore. So Kate Winslet is a triple Libra. Kim Kardashian is a Libra, but she has like an incredible Libra activity in her chart. It's like she's like a super Libra. There's a lot of Libras, and as you well know, when they get tired, that's it. So Libras are rough. They're not always going to be quiet and play along. They get tired of it, they're done. But Virgo's more drastic up front. No, I don't agree with you. No, I don't believe in you. Okay, so it's rough. I see this connection as rough. I see that this connection dedication is closing doors on other love that you could be having. So it's a choice. He's going to reach out to you. Yeah. Libra can be very random. Virgo, not so much. So that's why I said you're not your typical Virgo. You have an incredible mixture of you have so much Libra to your Virgo. It's strong, very strong. You have your Mars in Libra, your Jupiter in Libra, your Sun is a cusp in Libra, your Moon is closing in on a cusp in Libra. You have a lot of Libra. And mixed with the Virgo and the confusing Taurian energy, you also have sub-rulers. So let me check on the sub-ruler of your sun sign a minute. And then let me check on the sub-ruler of your Let me get a full identity on you. Give me 1 second. Okay, 23 degrees of Virgo. Okay, so the sub-ruler, okay, the sub-ruler of your sun sign is Venus. So you're a Virgo on the Libra cusp with the sub-ruler being Venus. So you're like 50% Virgo, 50% Libra. That's crazy. That's awesome. Let me check on the sub-ruler of your ascendant. Okay, your ascendant is a 25th degree Taurus. Okay, yeah. So you have Pisces and Neptune, which is the sub-ruler of your Taurus. So you are a Taurus-Pisces mixture in your ascendant. Very interesting. Now let's check on the other part of your identity, which is the last part. So you've got 23, 22, and 25. 23, 22, 25. Okay, so you're a Virgo with a sub-ruler of Venus on the Libra cusp, making you a 50% Libra sun. And what's fueling it is an Aquarian degree. So you will naturally rebel in your choices, just like that. That comes from the Aquarius fueling the entire placement. And then your moon is Virgo, but it's very close to Libra. And its ruler is Mercury, but it's with a Capricorn fueling. So you have a very analytical, patient, waiting, and maybe sometimes even cold and detached at times moon. And one that waits a while before they make a move or say something. And then you've got the Taurus, but yet its sub-ruler is Pisces with Neptune, and or Jupiter if you want to be traditional, but I go with the modern. And then you've got it fueled by Aries. So this is drastic. Let's do it, and I need to think about myself, and I have to put me first at this time. So when push comes to shove, you do what you need to do. So yeah, this is a very awesome identity that you have in astrology. Let me check if the reading closes. Do you have any questions, comments, concerns? Spirit, do you close with the client? Yes. Does your Aries Lilith mean anything? Well, yeah, everything means something. Absolutely. There are different types of Lilith, but I'm assuming you're talking about, the main Lilith. Yes. So yes, it does mean a lot of things. Where it is and what it's close to and what it's speaking and who's speaking to it and what's going on. And Lilith readings take a couple of hours. Yeah. It means a lot of things. Everything takes a long time to read. Everything. So I do just Venus readings. I sometimes combine it with Mars. because that's like an hour or two. Sometimes I'll do a Lilith reading by itself, or sometimes I'll combine it with Cerise and Pallas Athena. Yeah, it depends also on what you're looking for as well. Your Lilith means things about your career. It means things about your health. It means things about your love life. It means things about family. It means things about your past life. It means things about where you're going to hurt in your life. And it also means on areas that you have to, be proactive so you don't hurt. It means a lot of things. Lilith is very important because it is the dark side of the moon. Yes. Yeah, so it's the dark side of the moon, so the shadow side of the moon, and it goes with the nodes. So it also, when I'm looking at vocation and career, I analyze the Lilith as well, very much, with a lot of other things. Fixed stars, all of that. Dark spot on the chart. What do you mean by dark? Because the nodes are dark. I mean, they're the shadow eclipses. They are also on the shadows of the moon. The moon itself is the darkest. The bottom hemisphere of the chart is the one that's in the dark. The fourth house is the one with no light penetrates. There's a lot of things with dark. Eighth house has darkness as far as the more sinister feeling. Oh, with the Lilith, yes. Okay, yeah. Yeah. No, I wouldn't say it's the darkest. No. No, I would say for you in particular. I would say that I would say that the roughest part of your chart, I mean, I have to analyze it, but I would say the roughest part is Saturn. It's the most difficult part of your chart. As far as dark, hardest is Saturn. Very rough on that. Everybody's got like a thing, so yours is that. The part with Libra does explain that what will, the blessing it's bringing is career and talents, like money. You're a money maker. You will always make money and have it in your hands. Even if you have rough economic times, you're going to always have some money blessing. But at the same time, it's what can hurt your health. Yeah. So I would say that Libra is addressing two very important parts of your life. But I would say that Saturn is pretty brutal. And whenever you're having anything triggered by Saturn, you have to be extremely aware of that. And of course, you have a night chart and you're ruled by Venus. So according to astrological sect, you're benefic and malefic. I guess by formulaic way, it would be Mars, but honestly, I'm going to tell you that it's Saturn in your particular case. Pay more attention to Saturn triggers and Saturn conversations than the Mars itself, despite your Venetian stuff. Okay, so as you said, really, how can it hurt your health? Because there is a surgery there at some point. So this talks about how there's things with bones. There's things with I do medical astrology as well. I don't diagnose or do anything like that, but I incorporate medical. So there is some things there in this with health. There could be things where just through use, a lot of use in the body, so like ligaments, bones, there's also I'd have to take a deeper look, but in this particular case, overworking yourself can take its toll. And there could be some bone and ligament issues, and then also internally because of the mental strain of problems. Okay, so a lot of endocrine. Okay, yeah. That's, yeah, a lot of like the internal will be due to stress. So gout is, diet and stress. So okay, so stress can lead to bad eating habits. And then when things are acidic, uric acid and all of that, and, foods, spinach, and, I'm sure you know that it's correctable. However, this is just saying that problems because of upbringing and because of frustrations where a person wants to find their way and they feel in limbo and they're trying to find a home, an identity, a base, a comfort nest in what they do, and because they want to run away from what was in the past, the journey of trying to find foundation in this, and establishment and stability being the key word, it takes its toll on the body, and because it takes its toll on the mind, it suffers internally as well. So that's yeah. So as far as allergies, it's also an issue as well, and things that have to clear in the blood as well. So something that's related to the circulation of blood as well. So this also talks about an emergency surgery at some point, but or at least something that comes sudden as well. Let me check on this a minute. Okay, you have a castle, a kite, a grand cross. Okay, so that's a protection, especially with health. So there is something that this is talking about if you pouring yourself into your job at one point in your life, if I examine this grand cross that you have, pouring yourself too much into your job, despite something hurting you, you ignore it and put it aside because it's a small ailment, and this can lead to a health issue and then a procedure, and this is protection with it, but it ends up affecting the blood. So, these are things that have to be looked at even deeper. But it's a gastrointestinal with blood circulation. So it starts with a person. This is protection. So you have a grand cross. So this is a protection that you have. So disclaimer, I'm not diagnosing, I'm not playing doctor. You have to go to your licensed healthcare professional, and you have to go to your regular medical doctor for checkups, and they're the only ones that can diagnose. Okay, that being said, out of the way, I do have a right to give spiritual readings, and this is just my spiritual interpretation because medical mind, body, soul does carry itself through in readings. That being said, I'm just telling you that I do see a grand cross is a protection on medical and physical things of the body, both internal and external. So you are protected. However, this talks about a situation where because something in your life is hurting your feelings, you end up pouring yourself way too much in your job, and you push and ignore an ailment that starts off small, and you maybe take something for it, or maybe over the counter or something like that, or maybe you ignore the symptom, and then it gets worse, and it can end up in a situation where one thing caused an allergy, and then the allergy thing had to that, and it talks about a critical situation at one point that obviously becomes all right, but it is something critical where it ends up having something to do with the gastrointestinal situation and the blood itself. So what can that be? if you get stressed and get in, hypothetically, if John, Joe, Jane, whatever, gets stressed out at their job and then they get an ulcer and the ulcer gets very irritated, then they have to have a procedure for that. And then maybe the medication on top of that adds, leads to something circulatory or blood wise or something with pressure or something cardiovascular because it's something that happens because of the medication. Then all of a sudden they have two situations and then there could be something critical and then they have to go to the root cause, and this is a journey and this can cause even more stress, and then they finally address it, but after a long journey of learning about their body. So this talks about that in the path. Oh, it happened now? Okay, yeah. What wasn't that? Okay, your blood is being affected even right now with gout, because gout is gout is not dirty blood. It's just acidic. When the blood turns acidic, it's ketoacidosis, which is completely different. But gout can affect the kidneys and the liver and stuff like that, because obviously, it's the pH of the body and the uric acid and the foods, and it can lead to complications. And, it's usually something that's readily fixed, but as I'm sure your doctor will tell you, but it's dietary. The therapy is diet, obviously. Sometimes they give some medication, but, it depends, and, it has to be addressed, and you have to, really go to the root of the cause, which is diet, and all of that. So it can lead to a person hurting the bladder and even urinating blood or stress, irritation, because, the liver metabolizes everything, and the kidneys, have to do a lot with blood health because they are the filter of the body. So there's a lot to it. Yeah, so you could also have an inflammation issue on top of that as well, and all of that. So here's the thing. When Saturn is triggered in your chart, a person this is why the natal is so important, because the big, the bad, the ugly that I see in the chart, it can be re-triggered in the life. So maybe every 5 years when something is triggered in a horoscope, and it's going to be triggering a certain spot in your natal. Every time it's triggered, the person's going to have some kind of repeat. Not exactly. The first time it happens is always the worst. They can have little revisits of issues. All right, so this pretty much closes the reading. Everything is closed. We addressed everything. Did you have any other questions or concerns? Thank you, by the way, for choosing me to do your reading. I know there's a lot of competition out there and stuff, but I appreciate you giving me a chance, and it was very nice to meet you. That being said, do you have anything you need to ask me, sweetie? Or Sam? I say sweetie because I forget names. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, sweetheart. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. Don't ignore ailments. You're not made of steel. Virgo always bounces back. Virgo is very healthy. They're very lucky, but you're not a machine, and you need to dedicate yourself to wellness and love yourself every day, and put good nutrition. Okay. All right, sweetheart. Thank you. Hey, Katie, you said, does David feel anything for you? Okay, let's find out. So there's something off about the energy with David. Usually I'm able to, answer like right away. There's something off. So either you blocked him or he blocked you. Sometimes when there's when a person asks a love question and the energy between them is very like drastic, or they just had an argument, because I'm doing a short answer, like on the stream kind of thing, like 3 yes, no, I dip into like write the energy of what's going on. If I do more of a detailed love reading, then I'm able to go into the past, see what happened. But I'm trying to give you, this energy is very like cut off. Like when someone blocks or something out of anger or something like that. It's better that you wait for this, for this kind of like to dissipate, and then ask again, because you're asking a tender question over an energy right now that's very closed. So, that's one of the things. You never get a reading drunk, and never get a reading when you've just had a fight, because you're going to get the anger vibe. If you want to find out future stuff, you can book a full one, but I'm not telling you to do that, obviously. If you're in a hurt space right now, I would say just give it some time. All right, sweetheart? But yeah, this talks about being blocked in every way. So maybe somebody got angry and said block, block, block. All right, sweetheart. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. And until next time, bye.